Happy New Year. I just wanted to let y'all know I almost missed this episode because the OWN network decided to put it on a holiday. How dare y'all? Who do y'all think y'all are? Anyway, let's get right into it because Shiloh and Phil got a lot going on, girl, and there's a lot to unpack. Cue the music. Oh yes, bitches and hoes. I'm back.
I'll drop a player like it's nothing, it ain't working out. Now no debate up for discussion, bitch, I'm walking out. My time is money, I ain't loving, let you toast it out. Flip my weave and walk it out, look how I just bossed it out. Now come on baby, why you bugging, we can't talk it out. I keeps it moving, I ain't tripping, lost another spouse. I'm just a boss, it's in my blood, no I won't scream or shout. Grabbing my keys.
Cause oh yes, bitches and hoes, I'm back. Back with another video, and we here to discuss Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 11, the almost forgotten episode, because y'all gonna put this on during the holiday like people ain't drinking and eating and chilling. Anyway, let's get started, girl. So the episode opens up, the ladies are on their way to the ladies' lounge to meet Tommy. They still down there in D.C., right down the street, mind you. And Tommy tells them he wants them to introduce their favorite guys to their family members, the people who know them best. And so, you know, here come everybody, oh my God, my family, they are this, they are that, they're going to run him away. Aisha, my family is going to run him away. Girl, stop the cap. Introduce his crazy ass to them, girl. He got 3 baby mamas. He ain't going nowhere. So, we go into the first scene. Sydney is at the crib with her parents, and she's waiting for Phil to arrive. Okay, so Sydney is a very cute, quirky girl who's like really in the clubs and all that stuff. I think Sydney's very beautiful. But she's telling her parents, about the process and how it works. How basically she's in this process where it's, you know, they were dating 10 people and then all this other things like that. And her mom was trying to get clarity on that. Aisha, on the other hand, is with her mom and her brother, and they're waiting Dante. Dante's supposed to come by and meet them as well. So she's kind of giving a little backstory on Dante before he gets there. Sydney's parents basically was like, so what's tea, girl? Give me all the information on this dude. Like, what do we need to know? What do we need to ask? Like, girl, because mama was me. Mama was just like, I'm going to ask what I'm going to ask. Like, that's on period. So let me know what I need to know so I can steer my questions in the right way. Because I'm going to ask what I want to ask. I'm with mama. I'm her. Dante's on his way. He's arriving, but he makes mention that he's not quite there yet with Shiloh. And, you know, I'm going to get into it in a second, but I just don't appreciate the way he's doing things. But let's move on. So he finally arrives. He got flowers. He coming with all the gifts. He's rolling out the red carpet for Sydney. And I believe it's solely because he's physically attracted to her more than Shiloh. That's just my beliefs. I'm sorry. That's what I feel. But he's coming with all the gifts. He arrives with all this stuff. Dante arrived to meet Aisha and her family. He got flowers. Everybody got flowers and wine and all this whatnot. And I'm just like, baby, these representatives, it be the representatives for me. But anyway, so as Dante sits down, the brother asks him about his 3 kids and his 3 baby mamas. And look at Dante. Oh no, baby. You the one went down there and had all them churn. Answer the questions. So either way, Dante was just like, you know, I have a really good relationship with all my exes. 2 of them are actually married. And the other one, we have a really good co-parenting situation. Because the brother was like, look, we ain't got time for the drama. Like, what you doing? Like, the drama is not what we doing. So, we move on the other side. Sydney's mom asked, what's his name? Asked Phil if he had a savings account. I know that's right, mama. Even though savings accounts are outdated, at least you're trying to find out if he got a couple dollars stashed on the side. Child, look, you got to ask these questions because these ninjas ain't going to tell you that off the cuff. I don't even know if he said he did or not. I think he kind of laughed that off. So we flip back. Aisha's mom is basically concerned about how fast they're going. And Aisha had to explain to them, hey, look, by this being the process, it's typically how it goes. You know, that it seems fast, but, you know, this is the kind of, you know, process that we're under. We flip to the other side. Sydney's mom says she wants the best for her. And if you a player, baby, keep on playing. I know that's right. And you know what? Miss Sydney mama, I forgot your name, but he is playing. He want to be with Sydney, yes, but he was still hanging on to Shiloh. So you're right. If you're a player, keep on playing. I know that's right. So Dante get up, he get ready to head out. And Aisha asked her family how they liked him, and they said they liked him. He answered all the questions straight up. Sydney was just like, I mean, I don't really love Phil, but I like him a lot. That's fair. I don't think anybody expects her to be in love. I think that's just, that old school way of thinking, like, oh, you settling down, you must be in love. I think that her saying that is very, very valid. I get it. But he did say that he's leaning towards her, and her mom likes him, and Sydney was sitting there saying, but she still got this whole thing going on with Frank. Now, this is my thing. I feel like everybody's just trying to lash on to somebody at this point. I don't feel like nobody really genuinely like nobody, to be completely honest. Is there a cash prize at the end of this? Or y'all making alliances? Because this just don't make no sense. Alright, let's move on. Moomin. I heard her daddy say it. Moomin. So Moomin, her and her family is down there in full African guard, looking like they coming straight out of the Lion King. From the day we arrived on the planet. That's what I was getting. And I love it. It's beautiful. But yeah, they're down there in full garb or whatever. And girl, she tells her dad that he's African or West African, but he's from Ghana. And her daddy was like, well, why you ain't pick nobody from Cameroon? And she was like, because they didn't have nobody from Cameroon in the whole lineup. And you know now, they don't be liking all that mixing and mingling. I ain't hating them, but they don't really be caring for all of that. So, okay. Frank arrives and he says that he's used to dealing with this type of stuff because he's from Guyana. Is that the way you pronounce it? But his parents are African, so he knows how to deal with that type of stuff when he comes across it. It's kind of like second nature for him. But he did make mention that African parents are tense, especially the fathers with their daughters, as they should be. That's the way African American men should be, but collectively, I digress. Anyway, so the dad asked him where he's from. He tell him he's from Ghana. And the uncle asked what pecking order is she in, basically. So what's the pecking order? Like, where does she fall in all of this? Frank gets uneasy. Of course he does. He definitely gets uneasy. And he's just like, well, it is a process. And, I am talking to one other person due to the process and all this stuff. And Dad was like, look, don't waste my daughter's time. Don't do it. If that's why you're here, then please move around. But he did mention about the other woman, and then Frank says basically that they're very much alike, and he says that I don't know why that made sense. The sister or the female who was with them says she don't like the fact that he said there's someone else, because by this time Frank done got the hell up and got on, which he should have. But she was like, her red flag was the fact that there's somebody else. It should be you and only you, and I know that's right. What are we talking about somebody else for? You should be the major decision by now. Pops, baby. I'm with sis. But, the dad basically says no man should ever say that to another man or to the father of a woman he's trying to date. And I know that's right too. When you're right, you're right. But the uncle had to bring it back in and was just like, y'all, this that American shit. This the process. That's what they doing. You can't take it how we take it back there at the crib. It's an American thing. The daddy was just like, oh, okay, but he ain't trying to hear that shit. And I don't blame you. Thank you, Papa Moomin. Thank you. Anyway, let's move on. Shiloh arrived to meet Tommy. Child, it done went down after the morning after. Girl, it done went down. Shiloh pulls up to go meet Tommy. I guess Phil is on his way too, girl. They was tanning down at the club, girl, the night before. Let's get into it. So when Phil arrives, I noticed that he didn't even give eye contact to Shiloh. He didn't say nothing to her. He basically went up and said, oh, hey, what's his name, Tommy, and all that stuff. And then he just went sat down. Like, he was really like stone faced, like the photo behind me. So as he sat down, Tommy's like, what the hell is going on? Like, what actually happened? So Shiloh goes in to say that, we were connecting when we were over at the retreat. Everything was going great. I asked him where we stood, and instead of him giving me an answer, he just gave me a kiss, and it didn't dawn on me right then and there that, he didn't give me an answer. But as time went on, I guess on the ride back, it kind of got to her, or maybe when she got home that he didn't answer her, and I'm trying to figure out why the hell it took her that long, but nevertheless, okay. But she was trying to figure out why he didn't get an answer. Why she didn't get an answer, a clear-cut answer. Well, child, they get down there to the club. And before I get into this, I'll say this. What we have to acknowledge is the fact that if they spending that type of time outside of filming, they definitely probably having sex, allegedly. And I think that's where the emotional ties is coming in more from Shiloh than it is from him, because she's probably emotionally tied through sex. Allegedly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they having sex. I'm sorry. That's just me. But either way, they down there at the club, girl. The music is blasting. The drinks is pouring. Shots, girl. Everybody having a good old time. Everybody tired and through and drunk. And Shiloh finds that this is the perfect time to ask Phil where they stand. Now, Shiloh, you could not have thought that would have been a good conversation. Even if he would have gave you the answer he wanted, you couldn't even literally have a great conversation with him in the middle of a club. Like, I don't really understand that. But either way, when she asked him, I guess he was just like, oh, you good, or whatever. You know, brushing her off like he do because he really likes Sydney. And I guess Shiloh ain't want to hear that shit. So she probably cussed him out. All I know is she said voices was raised. My hood self feel like they was cussing each other out. But either way, she decides to leave because she had to just get away. She was like, you know what? I gotta get away. As she walks out, I guess, out of the club, she's walking toward an alleyway. And then Phil, being a man, was trying to get her to not go down that alley. And it's, I guess, him asking her, and she's like, no, don't touch me. He physically removed her. Like, he picked her up and brought her back toward the club, I guess, where the lights are. This is where the issue is coming in for Shiloh. Shiloh feels like, you know, with her past that she's had, he should know that when she says, don't touch me. And I will give you that, Shiloh. Nobody should be touched when they don't want to be touched. So I'm going to give you that. I won't have anything negative to say about that. But what I will say is we have to get context on what's actually happening. And we're going to get that as we're going. So after she said she got her answer once the defensive behavior started, Tommy asked, have they been drinking? And she was just like, yeah, it was 4-5 in the morning. Tommy was just like, y'all ass should not have been out there in these streets. And listen, I know I'm not young, but I know I ain't old. But I damn sure know I don't be running these streets 4-5 in the morning, girl. 2-3, tapping out, girl. Why is y'all in a club at 4-5 in the morning, girl? Ain't nothing open that late but liquor stores and legs. What y'all? Girl, I was confused. But Tommy was like, y'all should have had y'all ass at home. And then he basically asked her if she thought that was the best place for them to have the conversation. And, you know, she doesn't think so. But Phil's defense is he basically just wanted to make sure she was safe. She was walking down a dark alley. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't want to see anything happen to her. You know, he felt like he didn't want anything to happen to her. Tommy says he felt like none of this shit shouldn't have happened at the club. And then he asked him, he was like, I noticed y'all are not making eye contact. He asked Phil, do you still like her? And he just kind of did the head nod. And then he asked her, do you still like him? And she just kind of did the head nod. And I'm still confused because I'm just like, what are we talking about? Tommy wants to give them an opportunity to have a conversation one-on-one before they just really just call it quits, because he feels like there's still something there. To be honest, I don't know. I feel like Shiloh is already emotionally hurt. And I feel like there's nothing he can say or do. She's already done. She's got her feelings hurt. That's what I feel, but that's just me. But Phil says he can't stand that he can't stand for his character being attacked. Phil's defense is, look, heifer, I wasn't trying to beat you or put my hands on you. Like, that wasn't even the case. I literally was trying to get you out of danger. And then you're going to come back around here and act like as if I was being abusive to you or whatever. And Tommy asked her, do you feel like he was trying to be physically abusive? Like, do you feel like he was trying to harm you? And she says no. So then in my mind, I'm just like, so then what is the problem? Where's the trigger? And this is another thing, Shiloh, and I'm going to get to this. Have you had therapy for your past abuse? Because I think that's the number one thing nobody's mentioning. If your triggers are that hair triggered, you might need to seek some more therapy. And there's no shade on Shiloh. Shiloh has every right to say she don't want to be touched. But as we move on to this story, we'll understand why I'm saying that. Let's move on. Sydney has her sister Sarah there, and she wants her to meet Frank. All right, Sydney's sister is a very dark chocolate, Easter bunny chocolate, beautiful black woman. Shout out to Sydney's sister Sarah, girl. She must be from the daddy prior marriage. Because you know the daddy like my color too. But yeah, her sister's there, and she basically says that she want her to meet Frank and kind of get into the nitty gritty of what's going on. So Walter go to meet Sabrina's cousin, but her cousin just had a baby, so she on a FaceTime anyway. She can't be there in person. I'm just like, girl, if you ain't had nobody, you could have called me. Okay, Sydney tells her sister that she wants her to drill Frank. She needs to get all the tea. She needs to know what's really going on. So, okay, Sabrina's cousin asked Walter as he comes in what drew him to Sabrina. And he was just like, oh, we just locked eyes from the beginning and it's just been that ever since. Boy, that's not true. Because you was just all up in Mumeem's-ish. You lying. He your second choice, Sabrina. You better run. But anyway, he's saying they locked eyes or whatever. And I'm sitting here locking my eyes like, ninja, please. Sabrina's cousin asked Walter about his preference. Apparently, Walter has a preference of younger women. And basically says, hey, look, my sister or my cousin is not a spring chicken anymore. How do you feel that's going to take place with, or how do you feel that's going to look in y'all's relationship? Walter responds and says, if my ex-wife hadn't died, this is what the age I'd be looking at. And I feel like Sabrina's a beautiful girl. Now, Sabrina, you got down there in them confessionals and was like, because I don't look 45. Correction, boo, you do. You just look good for 45. That's it. But you don't look 30. You don't look 30 nothing, boo. It's the crow's feet. I'm not doing that. But no, boo, you don't look. No. Anyway. So I just wanted to give that little piece to Sabrina. So yeah, so Sabrina's in that hollering. She look younger than she look. And I'm sitting here going, stop the cap. All right. Sydney's sister asks Frank if he's dating other women. And he goes, technically, one other woman. I'm sorry. Then he turns to Sydney and holds her hand like he was in the doggone video, a music 90s R&B video, and was just like, oh, but I just want you to know I don't want to talk about her. I know I have a connection with her, but my connection is with you, and I want us to celebrate just you and just talk about you. And I'm sitting here going, oh, his game is weak. Hell, even Sydney was just like, boy, I know you fucking lying. I mean, she didn't say that, but she damn near said it. Because I know I was just like, what? So he just didn't like the fact that he had to answer about him feeling Mumeem, whatever her name is, Mumeem. I'm just saying that because that's comfortable. But it's just like, Frank, stand in your shit. Stand on your square. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Like, I don't understand. Like, what's the big deal? So as Frank leaves, Frank leaves and Walter leaves. Now, the friend says that Walter seems genuine. Frank says Sydney is almost too much like him as he's leaving. Basically, he don't need another him. And for all this time, I was saying y'all need to be together because y'all run the streets. But now I see how that's not even going to work out for y'all. So I'm with you, Frank. I don't think that's where you need to be. I'm sorry. I'm with you. All right. So we move on. Oh, before we move on, Sydney says she liked him, but not for her. No, Sydney's sister says she likes him, but not for her. And Sydney says he's more like a best friend. I agree with that. All right, so we going into the ladies' lounge. Child, Tommy asked everybody how it went. Sabrina says that she had Walter meet her cousin, and her cousin liked him. Mumeem mentioned that her dad was met Frank. Not Frank. Yeah, Frank. Was it Frank? Yeah. That her dad met Frank and that they had something in common, the fact that they were West African. Aisha says Walter says that they should be together or that he sees her in a view of a lifetime. Because her mom asked, do you see her for a season or a lifetime? And he says a lifetime. That was cute. But we need to see more people. I'm sorry. So yeah, he said she brings that up. So she's all smitten by that. Sydney mentioned Phil bringing all these gifts for her family, and Shiloh over there looking crazy because now she had her own experience with him, and it's just not the same. So Nephew Tommy looks over at Shiloh and was like, Shiloh, tell us how it went. And in my mind, I was like, I didn't see her have people come over or have somebody meet her family. And then she makes mention that because of what had happened recently, she didn't think it was good for him to meet her family. So now the girls are like, what the hell? So she goes into detail and tells the girls about what actually happened, about him physically moving her. Tommy made mention and made sure to say, you do not feel like he was physically trying to harm you. And she said no again. She said no. This is where the inconsistency comes in, and we'll see about it here in a second. Okay. My problem came up with Sydney. When she said that, Sydney was just like, I've never experienced this with him. And there's nothing wrong with saying that if that haven't been your experience. But don't discount her experience because you haven't experienced that. For her to even even go as far as saying, do you mind if I talk to him? And then getting into the confessional saying, that's just not the Phil that I know. And that's just not him. It be bitches like you. It be bitches like you that make women not want to speak because y'all want to believe who y'all representative is who the person really is. People are different around different people. And Sydney, I didn't appreciate your light-skinned ass for that. I didn't like it. Anyway, so she said that's why she didn't want him to come meet her parents. But Tommy was like, you know what? Let's do this. We're not going to do any eliminations. I want Shiloh and Phil to be able to have a sit down and talk about it. So how about this? Let's just go away, Shiloh. I'm giving you the opportunity to meet up with Phil so y'all can talk about it. So I'm like, okay. But I guess he announced they're going somewhere in Texas next week. Love, Texas or something like that. I don't know. But it was kind of mentioned out there. All right, so we move on. Phil and Shiloh meet up. Ciao. Phil walks in already ready to apologize because he feel like as a man, he wasn't taking responsibility of the situation and things could have went left, even further left. And he feels like as a man, he dropped the ball. That was a stand-up guy to me. That was really a stand-up guy to me. I'm not even going to lie because a lot of men will feel like, heifer, you trying to tarnish my name and middle fingers up. But I didn't get that from him. I think that he felt a way that it was coming off as if he was being abusive when he, in his own mind, felt like he was just trying to be a man and be the protector. And I think that those are where the wires kind of cut, if it makes sense. I don't think that he had any ill will or ill intent when he picked her up. I really do think that he was trying to get her away from going into a bad situation. But child, they sit down and she says that she felt the way about how they left when they left talking to Tommy. And she makes mention to him, you don't know how it feels to not be able to leave a, she says, you don't know how it feels to not be able to leave a situation when you need to leave. He acknowledges that and he says, you know what, you're absolutely right, I don't. But as a man, I was just trying to make sure that you were safe. You were going down this unsafe alley. It's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We're in DC. Like, I didn't want anything to happen to you. What I appreciated was what he said when he said this. You being mad at me is reversible. But something happening to you on my watch is irreversible. So for that, I'd rather this than the latter. That spoke volumes to his intent to me. And you know, I am not pro just take up for whatever a man say. That is not the case. But I do understand the difference in a person who's just trying to be powerful and try to be a dick or try to express their power and authority versus someone who's really just trying to, you know, make sure that everything's okay. And that's what I got from Phil. And y'all know I don't like Phil, but that's literally what I got from him. So she goes, you couldn't follow me into the alley? And he goes, no, as a grown man, I wouldn't walk down that alley by myself. So no. And she gives this look like as if, so you couldn't follow me into the alley? No, Shiloh. Now you putting both of y'all in danger because you mad. You're not thinking either. I'm sorry. This is not a beat up on Shiloh thing, but you're not thinking either. You're not thinking. You're walking into an alley because you're upset. God forbid he didn't walk behind you. You walk through there and get robbed or something worse. Nah, you're going to be looking at him like you didn't follow me or you didn't stop me. Like, I don't think there was a right way to do that. And I feel like Shiloh bringing up her past abuse and all that stuff, I think that those are very valid reasons to have the triggers that she have. But the fact that they're so hair trigger like is what's concerning. And I'm wondering if she's had or is she going to get more therapy for that. Because that, in my opinion, I wasn't there. But the way they both explained it, that wasn't this. He literally was trying to stop you from doing something that could potentially hurt you and him. Was it done correctly? No, but I don't think there's no correct way to do it. Because again, if he had stood at the end of the alley and been like, oh, bye girl, and then something happened to her, y'all have been dragging this man like for filth. But if he had physically gone in and said, hey, let me get you back to safety, y'all still dragging him because she up there hollering, but you don't understand and you put your hands on me and I have triggers and I have triggers. We all have triggers. That's what therapy is for, is to help us to work through some of those triggers that don't even necessarily have to be triggers. I'm not saying this instant isn't one, but I'm just saying. So after he tells her he wouldn't want to walk down the alley by herself and she makes that face and she says, He says, dude, listen, let me ask you a question. Do you think that I was physically trying to hurt you or that I was trying to hurt you at all? And then she goes, yes, emotionally. And I'm just like, heifer, you just said in 2 separate meetings that you did not feel like this man was trying to hurt you. Now all of a sudden it's emotionally. Let me tell you why it's emotionally. Because you feel some type of way. Because you've been spending all this time with this dude. I get it. I've been there. You've been spending all your time and all your energy with somebody who went all the way down to the wire to say he's not going to pick you. Because what does the emotional hurt have to do with the narrative of it being as if he was being aggressive or abusive? Or you can't say on 2 different occasions he was not trying to harm you and then get in front of him and say emotionally. I didn't like that. I'm sorry. You gotta, I don't, and I get it. Clarity happens as time goes by. But you got to be able to separate those. If he hurt you emotionally, say that. I don't think the alleyway had anything to do with his emotional hurt. I think the alleyway had everything to do with the alleged physical abuse. And since you acknowledge that there was none, I'm confused as to why you even speaking on emotional stuff about something that happened in the alley. That's just my opinion. But either way, he says he's hurt behind that. Like, he really is hurt because, again, as I understand him, he feels like he's being... His character is at question. Like, who wants to be known as a woman beater? Like, who wants to be known as an abuser? Like, who? Nobody wants that. So I understood that. Again, it's kind of two-folded because when she says don't touch her, don't touch her. It is what it is. But I will say this. What would have been the results if he let her just trot on down that alley and something happened? Drop down in the comments and let me know. I'm just asking. So basically, he gets out there and getting his confessional and was like, look, baby, I know I liked her a lot at first, but things have changed. We just not a good match. And you know what? That's the smartest thing you said all day, Phil. Y'all not a good match. So the end of the episode comes up. She meets up Shiloh with Tommy to tell Tommy that they had a conversation about the incident. And Tommy asked again, do you feel like he was trying to harm you? And she said yes, emotionally. Even Tommy made a face like, heifer, that's not what you said the last 2 times. But you know what? Let her have it. Tommy was just like, okay. So she says he was the only one that she was interested in. And because all that's done, she just wanted to leave the process, focus on her. And I think you should definitely do that. Shiloh, definitely focus on you. Definitely find out how to better you. Find out how to not have such hair triggers. Find out what's going to better you so that you can be in a healthy relationship. Phil, let this be a lesson to your dog ass. Stop playing with people's mind because you've been sleeping with the girl allegedly and hanging out with the girl all this time off of you to get down to the wire and stop playing with her and then start playing with her. That's wrong. So, twofold. Both of y'all should go home if you ask me. But anyway, that was this week's episode of Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 11. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you hoes later. Bye.